some American Legion baseball coming up. It's been busy, and we've got the standings, and we want to talk a little bit about that and what's going on. I'm going to try to give you the updated standings here. I mean, I can pull up the ones from yesterday until I get the my internet connection up and going. So coming in, we don't have any more broadcasts, Terry, for the regular season on the schedule, but the meeting is Monday, and then so they'll do the pairings. It's usually one. They got two divisions, folks. So one plays 8 and so forth in the opposite division. See if you folks can keep up with that. Usually that's how it goes. So it's kind of predictable on where it goes. But sometimes some teams don't have enough players, or for another situation, and some teams have to drop out and don't actually play. So we don't know exactly who the matchups will be. But they still got games to play today. They got makeup games tomorrow. So Cherville is playing Asheville. They got to they got to make up a game, Terry, where they had a pitcher pitch to. Well, I'm told right now, if I'm totally wrong, somebody can call me and let me know. But they threw too many pitches / innings or whatever, and they had a protest over it, and they got to go back and now do the game. And it's 10-6 now in the 6th inning, and I'll give you more details as soon as I pull up my standings. Now, Richard Walker still sends out some updates to us here at the studios to give us the information, and so we can check it out for you folks and give you the standings and so forth. So let me talk a little bit about this weekend's schedule before we go through the standings. And let me get way down here, Terry. Gonna have to scroll way down to the end. So, going into today is June 29th. Cherville against Randolph County was canceled, so they're not playing today. Lincoln County is at Cleveland County. That's a makeup from a past game. And then Maiden is playing at Union County today. Now, that Maiden game and Cleveland County games, Terry, that's going to decide – or could decide who's going to make the final spot in the Eastern Division of Area 4. What that will do, the winner of those, Maiden and Cleveland County are fighting for a right to play Cherville in the first round. Now, as far as Cherville's concerned, Cleveland County's had a worse season than Maiden, even though they have the same many wins right now. Well, they might have changed since last night, but Maiden had to forfeit a bunch of games earlier in the season. Yeah, Maiden did not win, so they're still tied right now going into today. Maiden and Cleveland County, and Maiden actually beat Cleveland County, and one of Cleveland County's wins is the forfeit win. So I think I got all that right. Possibly, maybe, and if I didn't, I'm sorry. We can correct it at some point. Now Sunday, Cherville will be playing Asheville in the protested game that was resumed. I think it's in the 6th inning. 10-6, Cherville's winning that. Union at Pineville will be Sunday as well, and then Monday the pairings meeting at 6:30. I guess I have an announcement 8ish or 9 about exactly who's playing what. Richard maybe put it out on Twitter or somewhere else. Any other media or teams will put that out that show up. That sets up the dates. The Area 4 playoffs begin Tuesday this week all the way through the 22nd. State tournament will be here in Cherryville the 26th through the 30th. The regional in Asheboro, August 7th to 11th, and the Legion World Series will be at Shelby the 15th through the 20th. Now, Terry, that means you don't have to leave the western part of almost pretty much the western part of North Carolina. I'll go all the way to the World Series here this season.
Yeah, you can watch everything around this area, and I think as far as fans-wise, and we're a good location for Legion baseball.
This is a hotbed.
Yes, it is. So, hey, if you're a real true baseball fan, this is your chance to see everything from the state to the regional all the way to the World Series just in our location.
Yeah, baseball fans in general. I was talking to someone the other day that want to take their kid out to a game, is asking for some recommendations. And I was like, take them to American Legion baseball game. They'll get to see some really good baseball, and they'll get to get up close as they want. Mm-hmm. And a good. It ain't going to be too expensive. Take them out, eat a hot dog, and have a good time. with that said, folks, we're also today, Terry, I got a special for you. We got 4 Gaston Grizzlies tickets versus the Asheboro Copperheads, who play at the stadium where we have the regional tournament that has the AstroTurf infield. So if it rains, they just squeeze the Joker off. Now they don't care about the outfielders; they got to play in waders or whatever. But the infielders don't have a problem getting the game going because of the mud or anything like that. So unless it's a pool out there and they got to actually sit in a raft, that they usually play. It'll rain or shine as long as there's no lightning out there in the regionals. And that's fun to check out, watching them just clear that off. I guess if you've been over here to Gardner Webb, you'll know that. But the Grizzlies versus the Copperheads tonight. We're going to have some tickets to give away. I got 4 tickets to give away today, and we're going to have some trivia up in here in just a few moments. Me and Terry got to figure out exactly what we want to ask. We usually stump everybody a lot of times, so we got to make sure it's easy for you folks out there. I guess we're just too smart, Terry. Is that what it is?
Y'all might.
That's the only thing I can figure out.
I just jump in the scale.
All right, folks. So let me get up to the standings before we take our first break. So in the East, Mint Hill is in first, 13-3. Gaston Brace. I guess some of these are finished 16. Let's go 16 games. I think is the total number of games we got, Terry. So if I got 16, that they finished the season, I think. So 13-3 is Mint Hill. The Braves are 11-5. Gaston Post 23 is in third right now at 10-6. Union County's got a chance. They've got 2 games left.
Yeah, they do.
They could jump up into a tie for second if they win their last 2 games today and tomorrow. Lincoln County's got 1 game left at 9-6 right now, so they're sitting in the 5 spot. The best they could probably get, looking at it, the best they could get is a tie for third. So right now they're in the 5 spot, though. So 3, 4, 5, thinking that for Lincoln County. In fact, though, if they lost and Pineville won, they could end up in a 6. So somewhere in the 3-6 range for Lincoln County, depending on what they do. They've got 1 game left. Union County's got 2 games left, and that's going to be the key in that division on where everybody finishes. But Mint Hill's going to get the 1 seed on a tie.
Yeah.
I died.
If there's more than 2 teams, I mean, you know.
Terry, this is American Legion Baseball.
I know.
Every series, every game, every tournament has different
it does.
rules of interpretation / what we're going to. I showed up a couple years back at a state tournament on the second day, not the first day, the second day, and they had changed the seeds and changed the times of teams playing. Now, how that happens, I have no idea. No, this team's now the 3 seed. What? What do we do yesterday? So I'm saying some tournaments are not run that well, depending on where you're at that we've been to. But this year's, I think, we're going to have no problems because it's going to be at Cherville, Asheboro, and Shelby here in the World Series. So I'm expecting a very smooth playoff run series. Now that we are in the hotbed of American Legion Baseball, Terry, these folks know how to run. The Cherville Series, I think that's a great place to watch a baseball game up there in the stands. And I'm sure they're going to have some more things to see and do there during the state tournament. All the way down the first baseline, you can see about anything down through there, and it's a fun part to watch as far as tournament ball because it's a home run park. It's a short porch. We'll talk about Boston and the Yankees here later today, but fans like to see home runs, and some of the best times watching American Legion Baseball just back in the day, they hit some home runs back in the day when they had these had some little bit better bats than they do. But I think the bats are getting better than I think they were a little bit worse at a point about 5 or 6 years ago. But I think they're getting in a better point with the bats now. I saw one kid hit one 400 feet the other night that I had no problem with whatever the bat was made out of. And I got to tell you a funny story about that. As soon as we finish up this division, I'll finish up this Legion with that little I got an umpire story there for you, Terry. Cherville Post 100, 11-2. They're in the 1 seed right now with Asheville. But they got to finish that game, and that's the only thing that they got to do there is finish that up with them. So they're up 10-6 in the sixth. So anything can happen. I guess Asheville could end up with the 1 seed. So 1 and 2, they're still battling for that. But in fact, Asheville's got 3 games left in 2 days. So if they lose all 3, or even 2 out of the 3, Rutherford County could actually jump up into the 2 spot with a win. They've got 2 games left. They could end up in the 2 spot. If Cherryville loses, we could have a 3-way tie for first at 11-3. So Cherryville, Asheville, and Rutherford County, it's still coming down nitty-gritty today, guys. Today and tomorrow, with what I only named 5 games, I think, and we've got 9 seeds to determine with those 5 games. So it's been pretty competitive and interesting year so far. And then you got Burke and Caldwell sitting here at 7-7, only 2 games behind Rutherford County. Say one of them win 2 games here in the next few days, they could end up in a 3 seed as well, based on the tiebreakers and stuff. So they could jump up in there. So Henderson County is down in the 6 seed at 6-8, Hickory at 7, and Burnsville at 8. So just for posterity's sake, matchups today, if they started, it'd be Cherryville and Maiden, Asheville and Huntersville, Rutherford County and Pineville, Lincoln County and Burke, Caldwell County versus Union, Gastonia versus Henderson, Hickory at the Gaston Braves, and Mint Hill versus Burnsville. That's if the tournament started right now, this second. So,
even the team that had the losses for having an ineligible player, I mean, they put themselves, we spoke of that last week. You even mentioned that if they win a couple games, they can be right back in this thing, and it's come down to that again.
Well, does for Cherryville's sake, they're actually getting a maiden team that's probably got 7, 8, 9 wins. I don't know exactly how many they gave up myself, but Terry, that's not really an 8 seed that they would be playing. So
that's true.
So they might have a little trouble there in the first round, more than they normally would against a team that might be regular 2-12, because that 2-13 record isn't exactly their record. Now, what if that team turned around, Terry, ran the table when we got to the World Series of 2-13 losses?
Yeah, think of that. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it cannot, but I would hate to know that. Sometimes you take things and your players are motivated by it, and after all this happened, I mean, you don't know what kind of situation these guys are in now, or how they looking at every game they play.
So what's interesting, real quick, before I tell you a little funny story. Well, I think it's funny, but anyway, to win Area 4, and we've done the math and everything before, it's harder to win Area 4, folks, than in some states it is to make it to the World Series. Some states don't have 8 teams, 9 teams. We've got 17 teams in Area 4. So there's 4 areas. So you can do some math on that. So it's tough just to get out of Area 4, and then you've got to win a state tournament, and then a regional tournament, and then, like I said, some of these teams, depending on whether, I think one of the New Jersey teams, like they they play less games to make it to the World Series than you do to win the state of North Carolina, and it's just it's tough here in North Carolina. So many teams to do it.
They probably, in those states, they probably don't have a regional,
right,
or anything.
I don't know.
They might go straight on to their state tournament, and that's the teams they play.
Yep.
Well,
if you only got 8 teams in the state, you kind of got to start there. It is a state
1 versus 8. I mean, and then it's kind of strange, because what if that's a team who, it's probably
couldn't get out of the second round in Area 4?
Yeah, that's what
you
I'm saying.
You don't know.
You have no clue. That's
You don't. Doing a game the other night, let's say someone in the press box thought it was a questionable call at first. I'll say this. All the other calls the whole night were great, even the bangers and everything. But I think they may have missed one. I'm going to say I know they missed one. Tom disagreed with me, Mr. Umpire. He said bangers are close. I was like, Tom, that's not close. And the PA announcer agreed with me. I'll say that. But what was funny, it might have cost them a run at some point. We don't know. But the same kid, the next at bat, Terry, is the kid that hit it 400 feet. So I told Tom, I said, when he rounded first, he looked at that umpire and said, go get that out there in the football field. And Tom's like, quit talking about the umpires, Kevin. That's what I got back on that one. But, yeah, that was a little baseball redemption on that. So I'll say just keep plugging away. And because, thinking about that, you hit one good sometimes you get on, sometimes you don't. Law of averages in baseball. So, for example, kids, he got out earlier, and the umpire cost him an out, and he might have been upset, but he come back up next at bat and hit a bomb. Yeah. And he was a backup. He's not a starter.
Well, the things that bother me when I'm behind the plate is, we call it like we see it. And if I call a strike and the kid looks at me and turns around and steps out of the batter's box and shakes his head like, my Lord, if that's going to be a strike all night, then I'm up the creek. But, but on the player's side of it, you have to understand that's only one, like, especially if you just stepped in there, it's only one strike. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? These other pitches coming. It's not going to be at the same plate probably. But, swing the bat. Don't get aggravated with the umpire because that does nothing but, distronks you, and then you're wondering, okay, what are we going to get called in this game? Just step back in there and take the next pitch. It's only one pitch.
Yeah, the first two strikes, I don't know if I ever got too bothered on the first two strikes. I know, I was up there to swing anyway, not to get a walk, and so, that third strike, that'll upset you sometimes. But like I was talking to Tom, my senior year I struck out 5 times. One time was looking, and that was and Brody Taylor threw a perfect game against us. I had to give him credit. He threw a curveball. When he let it go, I swear to God, Terry, it was going into the dugout. And it was a strike 3. He backdoor curved me. And so I didn't like watching pitches like that at all. And so you go up there, swing the bat. There was one kid we saw this year that he would take a pitch and he would take a walk every pitch. And I counted, he would take 10 to 12 steps before every pitch. Every pitch. Is that not weird? Crazy. I don't know. Like, where's he going? Like, I can't believe the umpire was like, hey.
Back in the box.
Every pitch, ball or strike. I was sitting there counting 10 to 12 steps back in the box and wait for the next pitch.
So that was the very opposite. When I stepped in, you could throw the first one right down the middle, and I would never swing. I'd always take the first strike.
Ain't no way. I'm swinging at that first
if you're going to be a pitch against me, just throw it down the darn middle.
Terry's going to give you a strike. See, I was the total opposite. Like, I didn't want to see the curveball if I didn't have to. So I don't want to see your breaking stuff first at bat. And most pitchers are trying to throw a non-full speed fastball, so I love swinging at that first pitch because you're getting batting practice. What do you do? That should be the speeds you're seeing, unless somebody you come in you don't see 95 that much or 90 that much in practice or something else. But I like swinging at the first pitch strike because the pitchers. I don't think they're really ready for it a lot of times because there are a lot of batters like you that's not going to swing at that first pitch no matter what. The umpire in his defense was out in the I think C's position and not right there at first with the one on the play miss. So I don't think I got to give him a little leeway on that. But yeah, Tom was I was giving him a little heck about that situation. But so be kind to your umpires, Terry. Right?
That's right.
We always that's always our message.
Right.
All right, we're way past the break. That's our American Legion talk this morning. When we come back, we're going to do some more baseball, and we're going to give away some Grizzly. We're going to have a trivia question, maybe 2, we'll see, for some Gastonia Grizzlies tickets against the Ashboro Copperheads tonight in Gastonia. Remember, Calvin and the gang are down in Gastonia today. They've got free Subway sandwiches from the Belmont and Subway down at MS Power Sports. It's right there on Franklin Boulevard. You go right down all the past the shopping area. They're down there across where all the car dealerships are is where they're at there on 74. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on KTCBroadcasting.com.